in middle.
All right. Coming in the room. This is good. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, Miss Tangela. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Uh, doing well. I can't complain.
Good, good, good. Waiting for some more folks to join us. We're excited about tonight, as always. We don't get to see you once a month, but we get happy about this reunion. So welcome for some folks to come in. I can still see folks coming in. So we're happy to have everyone tonight. This is good. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's see what's going on here. We're still waiting for folks to come in. Good evening. Yep, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good to see everyone again. Always good to see my Monday Night Live family. Good to see you all. Yeah, we're going to get started in about 1 minute. Just want to let some more folks come in. Yes, indeed. Hello. While we're waiting, we want to make sure that everyone who is new to, well, not just new, anybody who's here tonight, can you put in the chat where you are from, where you're calling in from, where you're logging in from? We want to know what area of the country is represented. We always like to check in with our Monday Night Live family. We want to know who's here. Miss Angela, is that KY, Kentucky? Welcome. Hello. Good to see you. All right. Kentucky's in the, okay, Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, Mr. Dyson. Good to see you. All right, Angelia. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Hello from ATL. All right. Good to see you. Hyattsville, Maryland. Okay. Somerset, New Jersey, and Gary, Indiana. Ooh, this is so good. I'm seeing everybody coming in. This is great. Hey, Tangela from Ewing again. Hello, everybody. Mount Vernon, New York, Westchester County in the building. All right, Somerset, New Jersey again. And while we're checking in and logging in for Paris, California, hello. While we're all logging in, letting everybody know where we're from, Boston, Massachusetts. Hey, Frank, please let us know if you're in a fraternity or a sorority. We like to make those connections here as well. Anybody from the Links, Jack and Jill, wherever you're from, any of these beautiful Black organizations, please let us know where you're from, a Mason, any of those things, and we're going to get started. Yes, indeed. Hello, Coconut Creek, Florida. This is beautiful. Oh, good evening, Accra, Ghana. All right. The Deltas are in the building as well. We thank God always for our Ghanaian team that is with us, that's supporting in the background. Thank you so much, as well as the rest of the Monday Night Live and Day Free Global Foundation team, Ms. Deb, everyone who's on. All right, we are ready to get started because we are chock full of information tonight. All right, Delta's connecting. Let me see who else is here. All right, hello, Miss Christine Smith. Oh, good to see you. All right, everybody. We are getting ready to get started. Well, first of all, welcome as always to Monday Night Live. We get so excited about having you with us. Today's goal is to reflect on some of the highlights of the 2022 D-Free FinFest conference. That'll be very brief, but we also want to specialize with tomorrow. I know how many of y'all celebrated Black Friday. Go and tell the truth. You among your D-Free family, so you can tell the truth. If you're in the chat, let us know you celebrated Black Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We want to start off with Thankful Thursday. So we hope that everybody was able to spend some time with their families. And then after we talk about Black Friday, we're going to talk about what in the Black Friday looks like. In addition to that, we want to touch base a little bit about something amazing that is coming up, not Cyber Monday. I know some of you were glued to your computers today as well, but Tuesday. Tuesday is Giving Tuesday. And this session today is called the Give Back Session. We have with us a very special guest whom I'll introduce in a few moments. But as the holidays are approaching, we want to have opportunities to share ways about how to give back to Black-owned businesses, how to give back to our own family and our own family members, and even the mission of businesses or anything our participants may want to support. We want to be able to talk about that. We also want to talk about ownership, because ownership is the new Black. We also want to talk about the fact that the mission of D-Free Global Foundation is to close the wealth gap one family at a time and leave a legacy. And so on Monday Night Live, we get together to educate and motivate one another and to talk about how we can continue to attack that wealth gap through all of the wonderful opportunities we have through D-Free Global Foundation. And so we're going to touch base on all of those things tonight, in addition to a couple surprises. So without further ado, and people are still coming in. I see one person needs to be muted. Got it. Boom, boom. We're going to officially welcome everybody back to Monday Night Live. On behalf of D-Free Global Foundation and Dr. DeForest B. Stories Jr., our CEO and founder, welcome everybody. It's good to see you, especially those of you who are here for the first time. Just to go over a few housekeeping tips before we jump in, because once we get started, y'all know how we do. We just ask that you continue to keep your microphone on mute in order to minimize distraction and to reduce the amount of microphone feedback. But you can feel free to unmute yourself if you wish to join the conversation or if you're called on to be a part of the conversation. These sessions are always being recorded and are available for rewatch through our website, which is www.dfreefoundation.org, but also available on our YouTube channel as well. We love to keep that chat going, so please don't hesitate to comment, to ask questions, to share with one another, to network, to give feedback right there in the chat feature. We're going to do our best to address any questions throughout the conversation. So please feel free also to check the chat often for links. If you hear a link mentioned tonight, we're going to drop it in the chat to make it easier for you. If we are going on and we're getting heated in our conversation and enjoying the flow and we don't see you, please feel free to use that raise hand feature, especially if you want to share your thoughts. That feature is located right down at the bottom of your page. And all you have to do is press the raise hand and you will be added to the conversation. So first of all, we want to thank everyone who attended FinFest 2022, FinFest 2022. We want to say thank you to you. Again, our focus is ownership is the new Black. It was an exciting weekend. Is there anybody in the chat? I'm going to stop sharing for a second to see who was able to attend, whether you attended live or virtually. Okay, listen, I see these people that kept themselves holy during Black Friday. But did anybody attend FinFest? Did anybody attend FinFest? All right. Angelia attended virtually. Angelia, okay. All right, Miss Elliott Stewart. We want to ask the two of you, if you could share what were your favorite sessions or what were your biggest takeaways from FinFest? And share that for the group, because we have a rewatch going. We're going to share that with you in a few minutes. So if you missed it, don't think you're left out of it, but we do want to encourage you to come. So at this time, I want to see, Miss Frazier, you were also there virtually. So any of the three of you, if you want to, either one of you want to share what your favorite takeaway was from FinFest. We had a lot of things going on the main stage. There were quite a few presentations. Okay, Ms. Horn. All right. Anybody who wants to share can join in at this time. But again, we had things going on the main stage. So we had a lot of presentations there, but we also had some things going on in the background. And I'm hoping that people were able to take advantage of some of those things. So does anybody want to share today? I don't see raised hands. I don't want to call everybody out. Okay, thank you, Ms. Brenda. Very well organized, and you were really pumped. That's what we wanted to see. We wanted to encourage you. All right. We've dropped the rewatch link in the chat. You can still watch the rewatch, and it's on Happen Events. So anybody who hasn't seen, please feel free to click on. We had the cash. Are you talking about Ash Cash? Or are you talking about the cash giveaway? Because I saw those students running to the stage for the cash giveaway. Miss Altino Pierre. I wasn't sure which one. Oh, Ash Cash. Yes. Amazing guest. Amazing guest. Yes, indeed. Did anybody get a chance to take advantage of the job fair? There was also a virtual job fair and some one-on-ones with Prudential. Did anybody get to do any of that? All right. Okay. Ash Cash and the Cash was awesome. Yes. Thank you, Miss Renee. Both the cash in person. You had to see it. The lady that spoke about a money mindset. All right. Yes, I believe that was Jaquette Timmons. Yeah, she definitely was good. We look forward to having her. Yep. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Yep. We look forward to having her with us on one of our Monday Night Live sessions as well. So stay tuned. Anybody else? Well, if you didn't get a chance, please make sure that you check the chat. There is a link in the chat to encourage everyone to be sure to take advantage of FinFest 2022. There was so much information, and we want to make sure that everyone is empowered to do what they need to do, not just with their time, D-free time, but also to be D-free with their money and set a different money mindset, pun intended. We want to make sure that we spend a different money mindset as we go into 2023. All right. We also want to make sure that we remind everyone, if you ever have any financial articles or topics, please feel free to share them with us. You'll have our contact information at the end. We want to make sure we hit anything that's pertinent and relevant to you, anything that you see that we should be talking about. Let's see what else is going on in the chat real quick before we go to our intro. Oh, yay. Thank you. The whole FinFest program was amazing. We appreciate you. Great information, and the speakers were all knowledgeable. And I plan to attend in person next year. Good. We are looking forward to that. Again, those of you who may have missed, please check the chat so that you can watch the rewatch. Now I get to do something incredibly amazing and very exciting. So we're going to go back to our screen and get ready for our special guest. Oh, yay. I'm so glad you thought it was one of the best. That's what we wanted. We wanted to make sure everybody enjoyed and that there was something for everybody. So as I mentioned, I ran over what our topics would be tonight. And so before we get into the infamous Black Friday, and I'm sure so many of you didn't share your, didn't spend money, I want to make sure that I introduce our guests. Actually, yeah, I'm going to make sure I introduce our guest first, and then I'll share a word from Dr. Soaries, because she has been waiting so patiently. So let's get ready for our guest. Tonight we have with us none other than Renee King. Renee is the CEO and founder of Fund Black Founders, Inc. We are so excited to have you, Renee. So first of all, I want to say hello to you. And I also want you to share who you are and what your organization does.
Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here. I'm excited that this is a casual. So I hope y'all are in like PJs on the couch, eating dinner, doing something while listening, and getting this information. Thank you for the warm intro. So I am Renee King, founder of Fund Black Founders. And simply put, we are a crowdfunding platform that matches dollar for dollar contributions made to Black-owned businesses' crowdfunding campaigns. We help Black entrepreneurs raise money through crowdfunding, and then we match the dollars they raise with the support of celebrities and corporations. We launched in 2020, and since we've launched then, it was right before the pandemic, we funded around 120 founders with $3.4 million in debt-free, equity-free capital that they can use to start and grow their Black-owned businesses.
Now I really have to interrupt you because I need you to say that one more time. Say it loud for the people in the back.
We funded 120 founders with $3.4 million. And this was during the pandemic when we launched. And that money, they do not have to pay it back. It is debt-free. It is equity-free. It is straight capital that they get to go ahead and start and grow their business ventures.
That is amazing. $3.4 million during the pandemic. This is amazing to Black-owned, founders.
Yep, Black-owned businesses. If you are a founder of a Black-owned nonprofit, a Black-owned for-profit businesses, that's what we're funding.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good, so good. So what motivated you to start this organization, and why is it needed?
I would say there's a long story. This is not my first business. I have been in business before and I struggled as a Black entrepreneur in funding it. And when I was starting that business, I met other Black women founders building businesses, and they were further along than me, but they were also still struggling for funding. And it really bothered me. Specifically, when I was at a conference one day, the investor was on a stage and like literally shamed the entire group of entrepreneurs for not being able to raise a friends and family round. And for those of you who don't know what a friends and family round, it's that first money that goes into your business, like from literally your friends and family. So if you are, let's say, your aunt is Oprah, right? And you have this idea. Aunt Oprah will say, I believe in you, Rev Shonda. Let me give you a check for 25K to go ahead and start that nonprofit, start that for-profit business. For Black entrepreneurs, that's not our journey, right? A lot of us don't have Aunt Oprah's, uncle, whoever it is, to give us that check to start it off. So this investor was shaming a whole group of us, and that was like the final straw that broke my back, I guess you can say, where I said, no, I'm not gonna continue with this. We have to fix this. And we have to figure out a solution that incorporates our dollars to do it, but also incorporates our allies' dollars, everyone's dollars. Like, why can't everyone be the solution to funding Black entrepreneurs? So we started Fund Black Founders.
I love this. I love this. So because we were being shamed about not having family that could fund us, we created a family that that's
exactly. Exactly. And we'll talk more data points as for why that's really important, why you need that first amount of money in to get going. But yes.
This is so good. First of all, you had a presentation during our FinFest. I had a wonderful opportunity to be able to interview you and to get little nuggets from your presentation. Before I share, we go into our Black Friday and redefining Black Friday and sharing Dr. Stories' message. I saw someone in the chat also recognize that you were a presenter. For the benefit of those who weren't able to personally attend or virtually attend, can you just share a couple of the highlights from your presentation, and then we'll kind of do a deeper dive in a few moments.
Ooh. Okay, a couple of the highlights. What did we talk about? Let's see. We talked about different ways that you can start funding your business. We talked about the need for our community not just being founders, but also all of us being funders, no matter what level of wealth that you have, or amount of capital that you have. We talked about just like a lot of data around what we're battling as Black owned businesses, right? Our nonprofits and our for-profits. What are we battling, and what does the current state of the Black economy look like? And how do we as a collective solve that? We talked about a lot of good things. You should really watch it. I will tell you, I think I got more out of the conference than probably people got out of me. It was very moving for me. So I love it. And I'm like falling in love with the entire community.
Oh, this is so good because we are so in love with you. I see someone in the chat has already mentioned that you talked about building relationships. And so we're going to dive into that as well. Because first of all, coming together in this communal space is a relationship. So you all should be taking full advantage of this as well. But I know you're going to go a little bit further in that. And I still see folks coming in. So we're grateful for that. But just wanted to be able to let everyone know that Josh has put in the chat that you can reach, you can find out more about Fund Black Founders or at Instagram and Facebook. And you can also find them on Twitter. But you can also watch the rewatch and you get to hear what Renee said for yourself, as it was an amazing presentation. But she's also going to go in the chat and add some more information while we get ready for Dr. Stories' his message about Black Friday. So give me 1 sec. I want you to hear this just in case you missed it earlier.
I'm not going to sing the traditional Christmas song. I'm singing, I'm dreaming of a Black Christmas. The goal is by Christmas to have your debt resolved. I mean, do you understand that every dollar that you pay down in debt, you're creating a dollar's worth of wealth, at least a dollar. Set a goal right now, going to pay down $500, pay down $1,000. But this holiday season, to be a Black holiday season, is for Black people to make a commitment to be in the black. No foreclosures, no debt, no more financial illiteracy, no more wondering how I can support a black business. Let's do it.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Always looking for ways to be able to turn this whole Black Friday into something more positive. Dr. Story said in the Black Friday. You know, when I think of Black Friday, I think about, you know, getting in the Black, but I also think about buying Black and supporting Black if we're gonna buy anything. And I saw a couple people in the chat. If you have a Black-owned business, we want to make sure you put that in the chat now. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Renee, you already started off so powerfully. We want to make sure that we do talk about Black Friday. Is it possible to redefine Black Friday? Is it even possible after all these years of everybody running out? I mean, I hate to see the footage from Walmart and all the other places, you know, where people are fighting over TVs again for the 10th year in a row. Is it possible for us as a community to redefine that?
It is, and it 100% is possible. It's just we have to lead with intentionality on doing so, right? Like how Dr. Stories was explaining, intentionally making it a Black Christmas, right? Making Black Friday how we need it to be, being in the Black. So I want to talk about, and also I don't want to just talk at people. Please, if you have questions, you want to do comments, you want to chime in, like this is important because I want this to be a community dialogue around the current state of the Black economy. There's like data right now that shows that an abundance of resources gets poured into our communities during times of tragedy, right? So think like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, everyone flows in like putting capital, whether it's a GoFundMe campaign or businesses, you know, pledging this amount of money to our community, right? And a month to a year after those tragic events, the resources stop flowing, right? The other thing to know is like America also loves to primarily think about our communities during Black holidays, right? During Black History Month, during MLK Day. Now we have Juneteenth. Like they like to think of us during just those times and pour resources in during those times. So when you think about it, if you only paid attention to something that needs your attention, your full attention during those specific months or during tragic events, what results can we expect as a community? So we really need to be buying Black, when you think about it, every day and not just Black Friday. But I like what Dr. Stories is saying. And I also like, I don't know if anyone knows of this rapper named Killer Mike. He had this call to action where he was like, we should make every Friday Black Friday, right? Here's another start. Make every Friday Black Friday, meaning we, not just our community, but also our allies, we make a conscious effort to invest in Black-owned businesses on Fridays, right? So on Fridays, instead of buying coffee from Starbucks, you're gonna go to the Black-owned, you know, coffee shop around the corner. Instead of buying out, you know, buying food from somewhere else, you're going to make sure you support the Black-owned restaurant. If you need to order something, it's just being very intentional of not letting any of your dollars go anywhere but to Black-owned businesses, nonprofits on Fridays, right? That can be our first step to start towards moving intentionally around redefining Black Friday, because we can't just like think about it just on the one Black Friday for the year, right? We have to start taking the step further. So it's like every Friday, and then it'll trickle into another thing, right? Another, like maybe now it'll go to Thursdays and Wednesdays and more often. And I think the other power of doing this is, imagine if as a community, we didn't buy anything unless it's from a Black-owned business on Friday. Like two things that can happen. We're controlling our spending power, which sends a signal to those who don't respect our value. And then also we grow ownership in our communities. So, and there's a lot of data that shows business ownership is a key wealth maximization tool. But without funding and investment, our businesses can't grow. We can't start and grow. So we have to reinvent Black Friday as a community. And I can talk more about like why we have to do it this way, because there's a lack of funding resources that get poured into our community. We could talk more about that, but this is the way that we reposition it, is like we have to make every Friday a Black Friday.
I really love that idea. I remember, like you said, during the height of the George Floyd, there was a lot of a blackout and all these different things going on. But making every Friday and making that a focus can be embedded in everybody's life and can really be impactful. I see a lot going on in the chat. I'm getting excited about it. First of all, keep dropping those Black-owned businesses, even if it's not your business. If it's a business you supported and you recommended them, drop it in the chat. This will live on YouTube, and we want to make sure that we support these businesses. Again, we're moving it from one Black Friday to every Black Friday. Go Killer Mike. Shout out to Killer Mike. But Frank Williams says the worst time to start a diet is during the holidays. Likewise, the worst time to start talking about paying down debt or savings is during the holidays. What we have been programmed to spend. Yes, I can understand that being a real big challenge. I'm gonna say challenge, but what I do find, Frank, is that at the top of the year, everybody's ready, new me, new you, new goals, and they tend to start to think a little bit differently with a fresh start. But I'll let you weigh in on that, Ms. King.
I agree. It's challenging, but I do feel this year, and I would love to hear from everyone else. I feel like with whether you just agree we're in a recession, we're entering a recession, wherever you think that we're landing, I do feel that some folks or a lot of us were a little bit more intentional with our spending, right? Where we were like, I saw a lot of memes that came across where it was like, I really need the the 90% off sale, not the 25% off sale. So I think it's possible, right? I think it's not going to be easy, but it totally is possible because we're already starting to shift, right? We're already starting to shift where we're thinking like recession. So we need to like peel back a bit, right? And start making sure we're like secure. So it's just not waiting for that type of event to take place of us just programming ourselves to like think about it all the time and do it.
Oh, I love this conversation. I love what it's generating. Anybody else have any feedback? Do they think it's possible to do to shop Black Friday every Friday and really be focused and embed that into your own mantra or any way of redefining or thinking about things a little differently? Or maybe that's already part of who you are. If you want to log on, just go ahead and put the raised hand up. Call you in.
Yeah, I would love for people to comment because I'll also talk about we can talk more about this too. You will face a challenge though in doing it, right? You're gonna have to be intentional to find those Black-owned businesses that you want to support on Friday. But there's another cycle that we have to work on to make sure, like, could you imagine a world where everything you spent your dollars to was a Black-owned business? So there was a Black-owned light company, a Black-owned water company. There is a Black-owned, your mortgage bank is Black-owned. Your bank is Black-owned. Your cell phone provider. Like, can you imagine that world? Right? Like, and that's when you ultimately can circulate tremendous amount of dollars, and we have to get to that point.
Oh yeah, it's feeling very much like Wakanda right now.
Mm-hmm.
About it, I just envision that kind of power. Anybody want to jump in? I just want to make sure before we move on to the next segment.
I saw someone's hand up, but I think it's now gone. I don't know if it was Tangela.
Yeah, it was me.
Oh,
I'm
good,
guilty.
Tangela, don't be shy.
I'm guilty. But yeah, I think it is possible, like you already said, if it's intentional. Like we intentionally go and buy Gucci and Aldo and Coach and things of those nature. So if you replace those things with our Black-owned businesses, then it will work. But I think what would be a helpful tool for that is like what I kind of do is around this time of year is everyone who is a personal friend of mine who has a Black-owned business or somebody referred me to one, I make a small directory and I just kind of put it together and just put it out, to friends and family that instead of buying this is the alternative and our own to help increase our own financial wealth amongst ourselves. So it's each one teach one. If I tell 10 people and you tell 10 people, then we help them grow their business, and in turn with helping them grow their business, sometimes you do get a little kickback or you get a little reward because you help them increase that business. So it is possible.
I love that.
That is so that is so good on so many levels, Renee, because when she said giving out a Black owned directory, first of all, that doesn't cost you anything to support someone's business in that manner. But what I started to think about is all the sororities that are on there. If they just did all of the sorority members Black owned businesses and circulated throughout the sorority, or those who are members of churches doing a Black owned business in your churches or a conglomerate of churches and sharing, that is a great way of giving it. First of all, the gift is really amazing. I love it. I don't know if you were going to join in on that part, but I got a whole bunch of folks on here. I want to make sure everybody heard that and is taking advantage of it.
But I love that because also I think that we need more. I love that we have how many people on here? 34 people. And we know there's going to be more people who are going to watch this YouTube. And we saw how many people were at the conference, but it still takes more of us to spread the word, right? Or to spread the movement. So what Tangela did is amazing to help to push the conversation, because in our families, I guarantee you, because we work with entrepreneurs all the time, and one of the biggest barriers they have is going to their friends and family to talk about their Black-owned business. It is a big barrier that we have to change in our communities to make this more acceptable, more like, no, tell me about your business. Tell me how I can support it. Tell me how I can help. Tell me. And Tangela is doing a great thing of like sharing this whole list of folks. So like it sparks the conversation. It gets everyone thinking around it. So like someone, who knows, someone in Tangela's community now may have gotten that list and might be like, oh, I was thinking about starting a business. I should tell Tangela about my idea, right? They now feel like, oh, Tangela's about this life. So now I'm gonna go ahead and talk to her about that. And that is tremendous for our entrepreneurs, 100%.
Yeah, this is also something I thought about as you were speaking. Oftentimes Black businesses are not supported by their friends and family, or people think, oh, there's a catch, oh, they're going to be slow with delivery, or, oh, whatever stereotype you can name comes up. I think that by giving this directory, even as a gift, it really kind of eliminates even that thought, because I am supporting my friends, be it not monetarily, at least by sharing with others. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you find that really is still true, where people are not supporting because of those reasons?
Yes. I find, so that is definitely, here's what the mindset around Black-owned businesses needs to shift in terms of like how, and it's not just our community, but also other people need to also shift their thoughts. I find like in our allies think of our businesses as they're all like nonprofits. That's one thing. They think that they're all that, like no matter what you're doing. And the other side, I find our community, the people who look like us, they do. There's a negative connotation. Sometimes some people apply to Black-owned businesses that I'm going to get my order is going to be delayed. I can't get it overnight. The customer service is going to be poor. It's going to take forever for them to fix my order. Like it's just a constant. And what I want us to shift our thoughts towards, why is it that? Right? Like, why is it? So why is that restaurant take so long to fix your order and get it to you? Or why is the person who's making that handbag, why is it always sold out? Why are they only making a certain amount of products? Or why can't I get this handbag in Target or in this stores? Like, why, what is, like, I want you to think deeper. And I want our community to think deeper to understand the reason why that is there's data that specifically shows Black-owned businesses, nonprofits and for-profits, we're starting these businesses with 300% less funding. 300% less funding. So imagine you're on a racetrack. You are all the way back here. This is where our Black founders are, and here is our white founders, right? So when you are looking at the Target shelves and you're seeing this product that is well funded, that is not a Black founder, then you don't see a Black founder product, right? You don't see it in all the stores. You don't see that. And the reason is funding. There's a lack of funding. And what the funding does is that lack of funding then slows your progress of being able to hire employee number 2, employee number 3, for you to get better margins on what you're building, right? When you have to do your deliveries, all these different things, it creates a ripple effect. And then it ends up where we have our community on Yelp or on Instagram saying, this is, complaining or griping about this, right? And I want us to understand the why. And until we fix that, we have to give our founders grace, and we have to figure out what the solution, we have to be a part of the solution. Because I guarantee you, we cannot wait on banks to figure it out. We can't wait on those who have like investors who don't look like us to figure it out. All of the funding resources that have traditionally denied us, we can't wait for them to figure it out. We have to figure it out, and we have to give the grace to our founders and help them get to the point of like, I know you need help so that you can stay here, or you can stay on this block and be in business. Let me figure it out. So that's what I want our community to start thinking. Like, before you're ready to post that negative comment, or before you're ready to say this is what it is, think why it's at there and how do we fix? What's the solution to fixing it?
I got to tell you that there was so much value in what you just shared. I don't think half of anyone, period, thinks about those details. And you're right, we do need to extend grace. And I don't know if anybody else got as much out of that discernment. There we go. See, great value. People are understanding. It's things that we haven't thought about. And that's a good way to support, because the converse, you do put up negative comments. It is so impactful on the businesses. Did someone want to comment? Did someone come off mute? You can feel free to comment. You don't always have to raise your hand if you want to jump in. Yeah, but it's very that's very impactful. We were talking specifically about Black Friday.
Hello.
Oh yes, join in.
Hi, I'm sorry. Yes. Sometimes the other thing is I find that sometimes like we don't even treat us like customers. I go out of my way. I try to get the Black food, and but it be like a hot mess. Like they treat you like they're doing you a favor. Yeah. So it's tough. Like I feel like we don't treat each other like we should.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree. There's time you are going to encounter stuff like that too, right? And I'm always going to be that person who's going to lean towards give them grace and give them feedback, constructive feedback that you can provide in a way. And some of them will take it. And there's still bad apples. There's bad apples in every community, right? But it's a lot. Like their businesses are going through a lot right now. A lot. Like you not being a Black founder, just you being just a typical business, period, you're going through a lot. And then you add on the lack of resources that Black entrepreneurs don't get access to. It's a lot. So I encourage you to give them grace, because it's more than just, you have to understand, like, it is ownership. It is owning our communities. It is building businesses in our communities that are going to hire people that look like us, that's going to do so many things. So we have to give them grace, because if we want to build the Wakanda we want to, like, we're a chain and we're as weak as our weakest link. So we have to help the weakest link too. Unfortunately, that's where it is. Wow.
There's so much going on. I'm loving these comments. Keep them coming. Thank you so much for the Black Business Directory that Mr. Dyson dropped in a chat. Thank you very much for that information. We love the feedback that everyone is giving. And I do want to ask a question for those who may have just joined. And I don't think we've touched on it before. Oh, I see another hand. Oh, Christine.
Christine.
Yes, business owner. How is Christine?
Hi, everybody. I'm not driving anymore, so it's good to be on. I think this is my first time on this Monday Night Live.
Yes.
So this is really exciting. I would say for me, as an owner of a dance school, I have 2 locations, and one in Newark and one in New Brunswick. And it's my 21st year, I've had very, very supportive people, but it's really, really, I know I'm going through a whole restart right now. And it's to your point when you mentioned about the pandemic and just how it's tough for small businesses right now, and the support and the funding. My landlord in my New Brunswick location, where I was 17 years, they wanted all their money back from COVID in 5 days. Wow. So I lost my New Brunswick location. I've been using temporary spots, Rutgers University. But now I'm constantly struggling now, and it's disheartening, and I had people leave. I had over 300 students and people have left. So it's unlike what you're saying. If you're a brand new business, I feel like I am restarting. And then my second location, I opened up right before the pandemic. So it again, it's just like restarting.
Mhm. And I think where we want to be as a community, right? Like Christine, 20 years in business is tremendous value. There's not many Black entrepreneurs who make it to that point, right? And knowing that and knowing like you have an amazing dance studio, there's no reason that our community shouldn't be connected enough, right? And ready to come in and fix what it is. And it's not just about funding. Funding is one option, but if we know Christine is in need of a different location, there's no reason why our community shouldn't already be pooled with our resources to be able to get Christine into a new location before she has to close the Brunswick one. That's how we have to move as a community, right? Like it has to be like our resources have to be pooled and ready to go, and we need to be wrapped around. Just like how it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to raise a business. Like it's, and the village needs to be around it where when things happen, because it only hurts our community when Christine's business closed. Point blank. Like where do you take your child to learn dance? Where do you take it? Where do you take your child to learn dance when Christine's business closes? It doesn't help us. So we have to be more intentional around building the resources or building this like support system for all of our businesses to show up so that they can thrive.
Yes. And Christine, and for all those who are coming on future, if you do have a business, shout your business out. Let people know where you are. You have a dance studio. You are totally, that's the understatement of the year. Inspira Arts is amazing. And one of the things I can say is that my little cousin was looking for dance, and I didn't know about your Newark location and still recommended you. And she was willing to go to New Brunswick and then found out about the Newark location, was really excited. So this is all what word of mouth does. And this is the power. If someone says, I need this business, think Black first, think Black first. How can I get my child involved in XYZ? Well, I know this person, I know that person. Really start to think out. And it's sad that it's outside the box, but if we think Black first, that is a different way, not just with what the popularity is doing, but find out what's really going on. And so Christine, thank you so much for sharing. There are people in the chat asking, I just reposted what you posted, Inspira CC on IG and Inspira Arts on FB, as well as Inspira Performing Arts, inspiraarts.com. And so, yeah, thank you so much. Wait, I see more messages coming in. Oh, I feel like you're at church. So this is good. This is very good. So
yeah.
I was turning.
It's very moving. Yeah,
oh,
it's awesome. It's very moving. Like I'm learning a lot because sometimes you do get discouraged. I do have a cleaning business and you do get discouraged. I'm embarrassed to say that I still have not. I put woman owned. I didn't put minority owned. Yeah, and I just have not. Yeah, because I don't want all that. The negative connotation, because I'm Google, I'm on the Yelp. So it's, I mean, what do you guys think? Should I just be me?
So I definitely, there's pros and cons to everything, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
But I would encourage you to, do you have your minority supplier, is it called MW? Oh my gosh, I'm like blanking on it.
MWE.
Thank you. Do you have your MW? I would encourage everyone to do that.
MWE. Okay, thank you.
Because what I am seeing, especially, and I'm thinking about your business, what I am seeing, and I'm seeing this because I go into corporations and I lobby or I push them and say, give me money for our founders and also do this. And one of the things that they're always very willing to do is like, oh, they want to do supplier diversity, right? They want to, that's one of their initiatives that they're willing to do around being a great neighbor to the Black community. So what that looks like is that they want to change, like instead of going to a supplier who is white owned, they want to change certain businesses. So like a cleaning business would be great for like corporations that need people to come in to clean. But one of the things that they'll look for is like, are you certified? Because then that helps them with their bigger certifications to show, oh, by the way, like 50% of our suppliers are diverse. So I would encourage you to, there's benefits like that, or like that's one of the like great benefits of why you should be listed as that, and you want to put that on like on your website. Another thing to note, like Google has Google has a certification or a tag where you're Black owned, right? So when people are searching, it'll come up that you are a Black owned business. And we saw during, especially during, unfortunately, during specific tragedies and things of that sort, the search for Black owned, right? Like Black owned business, like was skyrocketed. Like people were very intentionally searching for that. So sometimes these labels can make it easier for people to find you and know, right? Because there were people that I've been one of those people who have called businesses and specifically asked, are you Black owned? And they tell me no. And I'm like, okay, goodbye. I've got to go try something else. Like, so just there's pros and cons. But yes, there are going to be people who, trust me, our name is Fun Black Founders. We deal with people who come to us and say, why is it just Black? Why is it you should change your name? You should call it something else. And you have to make the conscious decision. For us, we made the conscious decision, like we're going to be that elephant in the room, right? We're going to be that Black elephant in the room and stand for it, regardless of whatever negative stuff is going to come. Those negative people are not for us. We're not there for them. We know like the bigger picture. We have to do this. We have to stand up for it.
I'm loving this.
Good night, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, no, good evening. This is excellent. This is so good. I'm loving that. Please make sure you shout out your Black owned businesses or businesses you recommend in the chat. As we turn the page on Black Friday and we move into what's going on tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed Cyber Monday, but those days are over because that clock strikes midnight. We celebrate Giving Tuesday. Woo! That's something nobody talks about. You're not going to get a whole bunch of coupons for that. You're not going to get a whole bunch of emails for that, except from maybe perhaps some foundations or people that you're already working with. I would love for you, Renee, to just share the data points that lead to lack of funding and what Giving Tuesday is all about and why it's so essential, and how can we be intentional about the give back?
So, and there's a ton of data. I'm gonna just a couple things to note, like Black entrepreneurs, whether they're starting a nonprofit or for-profit, you are spending twice as much or 2 times more than a white entrepreneur to start the same exact business or nonprofit. You're spending 2 times as much. And once again, you're getting 300% less funding. Mm-hmm. So when I think about our nonprofits like D-Free and what they're doing, the incredible work that they're doing of pushing financial literacy, right? Increasing financial literacy and wealth in our communities. They're doing this with less capital, and that's a problem, right? That is a big problem, because if our nonprofits have less money to do the work, no one else is coming to our community and doing this work. So who does it then, right? Like who is going to show up and actually do this great work that needs to be done? So I think it's like really important that we're very intentional around our foundations, our nonprofit foundations like D-Free, and making sure that we truly support them. And you don't have to be Prudential, I know, is one of your sponsors. You don't have to be a big corporate sponsor, because when you look at, we teach this, by the way, we train nonprofit founders and for-profit founders. A true like nonprofit, the best thing that you can do to survive is you need to have a mix of revenue, and that revenue comes from big corporations and also we call it mass audience, right? That's the biggest, like when you think around like the biggest foundations out here that are doing like huge numbers, they have that blend, right? And that blend is why they're able to do like even bigger impactful work. So it's the Prudentials, the big sponsors, but it's also the smaller mass audience donors who do $20, $10, who do, every week they tithe a certain amount to it, or they do every month. Those people count too. Like all that money together helps D-Free get to do even more incredible work like that conference that they did.
Just one pause real quick in that thought. The fact is there are other people that might try to come into our community to do what we do, but they don't do it for free. one of the things we try to do is make sure that we put things and we make things accessible. There was no cost for the conference, whether you attended virtually or in person, and lunch was provided. And I mean, tons of phenomenal information, life-changing, life-giving information was provided. When you take the 12 steps to financial freedom, the course itself is free. Our D-Free Online Academy is free, and all of those things cost to run. So even as you're mentioning these things, and us, businesses, Black businesses having 300% more to invest in what they do, it is so true, especially if you want to be able to keep it at an economic rate. Now, other companies will come in and do in our community, but it's literally like drawing blood from a stone. They charge so much to do what they want to do, whether it's a rent to own furniture, whether it's payday loans, whether it's another financial company, charging a fee. So I'm glad
there's no intentionality, right? There's no intentionality behind it. It's more than just doing it for free. It's also like look at who you curated to be at the conference. If you're not plugged in the community and able to doing this work, like you cannot draw the people that you brought into that conference to have like FaceTime with those folks. Like that's incredible, right? So there's a level of intentionality that also like we know how to solve our problems. Like we know exactly how to help ourselves. So when we have these bigger orgs, I agree with you, Reverend Shonda, when we have these bigger orgs where there were a ton of orgs, especially during when all these corporations were making commitments to, we want to, help the Black community. And the first thing they wanted to do was financial literacy. And they built, and this is the other part. So then they spent money to build the financial literacy tool when D-Free already existed. This is what they do, okay? And that's a problem. That is a problem. So what that looks like, and I'm just gonna explain this, everyone on here needs to be, when it comes to Giving Tuesday, you need to give to D-Free. So then D-Free can get more people on board so that they can grow and be even so much bigger, so that there's no reason for any organization to be building financial literacy tools towards the Black community when D-Free already has done it. That's a waste. That money should be going to D-Free because you're doing it and you do it well and you're making impact. So it's just, I think that the other thing to note is that Giving Tuesday is a huge day for nonprofits, but not necessarily for our nonprofits, but other nonprofits, people who don't look like us. They make tremendous amount of donations on that day. So for us to compete, we have to, as a community, be very intentional. Look at our nonprofits, look at our foundations, and give. Like, we have to give. And we already do it. We just have to be even more intentional and give. And also, I would recommend, too, some of your employers will do matching, right? Go and talk to them and say, I want you to match for D-Free. I want you to, put this company in as a match. The other thing I wanted to bring up, so Giving Tuesday is a major day. So I hope everyone is ready to go for D-Free, because I experienced that conference and it was phenomenal. So and I experienced the work that you're doing. It's phenomenal. So we need D-Free to be around forever. Okay, period. It needs to be around and we need your help to do that. But so that's Giving Tuesday is a big day. There's another month. I don't know how many people know about Black August. Do you know Black Philanthropy Month?
Well, let me pause you 1 second. I think our CEO and founder is on. I'm not sure if he wanted to join, but before we talk about Black August, Dr. Stories, are you there?
We need Renee King to be around forever. Forget about D-Free. We need Renee King.
I knew it was coming.
Hi, Dr. Stories.
You left without giving me your autograph. You left. I told you I want your autograph. And you ran out of there and never said goodbye. So you'll have to listen, folks. This young woman is the truth, as some younger people say. If we would just do what she said, our lives, our communities, our families, our organizations, our churches will be significantly improved. Significantly. So I just came on to thank you. I was doing a session with the Deltas in Atlanta.
Nice.
And I jumped off early so I could catch you live to thank you publicly for making our event what it was. And we want you to come on the road with us. That's really what I want you to know. We want you to come on the road with us in 2023, and I'll send you the details later on.
I would love to. And I thank you for the work that you're doing. Honestly, you've paved a way. So just know I'm trying to live up to live up to the people who've gone before me and done greatness. That's all I'm trying to do.
Well, I feel good about turning this over in a few years to all of you young stars. So thank you. And thank you, Reverend Sutton. I didn't know you were on tonight. I found out by email. And I appreciate. What city are you in? You've been traveling all over the country. Where?
I'm in Jersey until Sunday.
I see. All right. Well, you're doing a great job. Thank you. And thanks for joining us tonight, everybody, on our Monday Night Live. And we hope to see you real soon on another Monday night. But Renee King, let me tell you something. You are the truth. And you'll hear from me before not too long. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. God bless y'all.
God bless you.
So Renee, we've got about 5 minutes left. I know you want to talk about Black August, so we're grateful that Dr. Stories is able to join us. It's always nice to have him in person and in the flesh. And so we thank God for our CEO and founder. But I want to return to your comment before we close out.
So Black August came up because we need more than Giving Tuesday. Okay, our nonprofits need more than just Giving Tuesday. We need a whole month called August, where we're focused also on our philanthropic companies that we're focused on and making sure we're funding. And that month even needs more amplification, by the way, because like that's just, there's so much work we need to do. But it starts with everyone on this call. You can do $10, you can do $20. You can also talk to your employers. I saw there was a question on how to approach them. I would start with your HR department and just say, hey, does the company participate in matching? I have this wonderful nonprofit foundation that's doing incredible work in the community that I would love to put up for it. And if they're doing matching, they'll totally guide you through it. And then you'll just reach out to DFree to get whatever information you need from them for them to be set up. And there's a couple other things too. I'll send it to you, Reverend Shonda, that you guys should be registered under that makes it easy to do matching too. But
is there anything you want to send, and we can send that in a follow-up, or if there's anything you can think of off the top of your head, because I know everybody's waiting.
That's why I was going to send it after, because my brain is like, I can't remember the name of the thing, but there's a whole company that does it's similar to like an Amazon Smile, but a whole nother.
Okay. Yep. So we'll make sure that everybody gets that. Absolutely no problem. I'm so glad that everybody's in the chat sharing their Black-owned businesses, and we're so grateful that Dr. DeForest B. Stories Jr. was able to join us as well. Before we close out, I wanted to talk just briefly about funding Black and buying Black. Can you just explain more about that concept and how they correlate, and like what are the benefits of giving back? You know, people don't want to give out of lack. You know, I don't have enough to give, but there are some benefits to doing that. And there's also some creative ways to do it. Can you just share a little bit about that so folks can leave encouraged tonight?
So I'd love to talk about this, where there's a difference between funding Black and buying Black. So buying Black is you go to, let's say, Target, you see this Black-owned card game, you buy it, right? Intentionally you buy it, or Honey Pot, right? You intentionally go and buy Honey Pot because you know it's Black-owned, or you go to the Black. That's buying Black. Funding Black is investing in those businesses, right? Because and the easiest way I can explain this, like this card game that's on the shelves of Target, right? This Black-owned card game is competing with Mattel or Hasbro or those big, like huge corporations that are white-owned, that it's competing for shelf space with that. And they need to do a certain amount of numbers for Target to want them to stay on the shelves, right? So when you buy it, that's great, but they also need funding, right? They need investors, they need loans, they need debt, they need all those things so that they can now get lower margins on the product that they're making. They can do more, like fulfill purchase orders. They can get better margins on things. They can be in more stores, right? So that it's not just only the Target in our Black-owned community, they can be somewhere else. So funding Black is really important. And it starts with not just also giving to our nonprofits, but also starting to think around like, how do you become an investor? There's different types of investors, right? Whether you fund someone's crowdfunding campaign where you don't get any type of, you get like some type of reward for doing that. So funding their crowdfunding campaign, or you invest in their their crowdfunding campaign, where in addition to a reward, you're also getting some type of ownership in the business. We have to become investors, and we have to become the funders of our businesses and learn how to go about that. And that's a whole nother call that we could talk about. How do you become a funder? Like, what's the process to doing that? So that we can fund these businesses so that they can compete.
This is so good. It's such good information. I'm seeing that somebody earlier mentioned they felt like they're at church service. I feel like I'm at church service with all the feedback. I'm so glad that people are finding value in our conversation. I really feel a part 2 coming on. I'm not going to commit you, but I do feel a part 2 coming on because there was so much more to say. I know that you were saying, you mentioned that you've seen folks giving back through tithing. But how does giving back occur outside of the church? Like, what does that look like on Giving Tuesday or any other day when you want to donate?
It looks like going to DFree's link that they're going to drop right in this chat and literally giving them $10, giving them $5, giving them $20, signing up to be like a monthly recurring person, right? The same way you tithe. Some of our biggest funders who have helped us to fund our entrepreneurs, they tithe to the church and they tithe to Black-owned businesses. Literally, like the same way they do a 10% or however much they do to the church, they're doing a certain amount of their spend to Black-owned businesses, to investing in it. That's what it is. So, or donating to Black nonprofits. So donating to DFree. So that's what we need to do. So I think the link needs to be put in here. And the one thing, if you're going to get up before you get off this call, you can donate. You can donate to DFree. You can also share the link. Like I said, share it with your employers, share it with your friends, share it with your family, like share it with everyone, post it on Instagram. Like people are looking for, people in your community are also looking for tax write-offs, right? They're looking for, before the end of the year. So make it easy. Say, listen, I believe, and you sharing when you post it on social or you share it with an email, so send an email to people or send a text, you sharing your like review of DFree, saying like, I believe in what DFree is doing. This is what I've seen them do for our community, makes the person who you're sharing it with even feel more inclined to like join you in donating to DFree. So that's what I would encourage you to do. It's a great way of like sharing this. Go ahead and open up your wallets and put some money in there. We need more DFrees. We need DFree to be all over the place because the tremendous work, and I see a lot of nonprofits, the tremendous work that you guys are doing. I'm really impressed by it. So I love it.
Renee, thank you. That was that. I didn't pay her for this, you guys.
No, she didn't. And that's correct. Like she did not. She told me about this program, and I'm like, of course. I'm just telling you genuinely. At the conference, I was so impressed. I was so impressed that this is like a nonprofit put together this whole big like community of influencers, people teaching like all this great information around financial literacy, and everyone was in the room, was so plugged in and like learning. That we need more of that. Like that needs to be a road show. So I'm glad you guys are going on the road, but they need funding to do it. So I know like you have credentials, but we have to move this. So this is we need this. This is very, very important.
Oh, Renee, everyone, I can't thank Renee King enough. I hope you all will jump in the chat and thank her. Renee King, our founder of Fund Black Founders. We are so excited to have had you tonight. You are a gift and a gem. I think we're really enamored with you, as evidenced by Dr. Stories inviting you to come on the road. We thank you for mentioning Giving Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Well, once the clock strikes midnight, wherever you are, whether it's East Coast or West Coast or anywhere in between. But there are 4 ways to donate to DFree Global Foundation. If you're interested, and all of those ways are tax deductible. So please be sure to go ahead, and if you can reach us via Zelle or our website, and there's a give back button actually on the website. It looks just like this, and you will go ahead and click there to donate. You can also donate via Cash App, or you can mail in your donation. If you're old school and you want to see a check, go and send a check in. Ms. Deb will be happy to accept it on your behalf. We're just grateful for all of you. And we always give an update on the $1 Billion Challenge. The $1 Billion Challenge is currently at 37,840,000. 494. And we do a drum roll for that because Renee, this is our goal, to pay down $1 billion worth of debt in the Black and brown community.
That is awesome.
But we're not going to stop there, because on the other side of this $1 billion challenge is also $1 billion worth of savings that we're looking to accumulate. And so everyone kind of comes together in this communal space. And as we're paying down debt in this confidential site, folks are paying down debt, and we're watching that ticker go up, and we see the impact on our Black community. And so we're grateful for all of you. If you're not already part of the $1 billion challenge, that's a wonderful goal for the new year. Join in, get your sorority sisters to join in, your fraternity brothers, get your family, your friends, your book club, join in. What a wonderful way to express friendship and to see each other, push each other further than to pay down debt. And so you can do that at no charge and confidentially at our D-Free $1 billion challenge website, which is listed there. If you need to reach us, we want to encourage you to visit our website, which is dfreefoundation.org. You can find all kinds of information, all things financial there. You can also sign up for our online D-Free Academy. It's updated, it's improved, it's amazing. And that's www.mydfree.org, where the 12 steps to financial freedom are housed, as well as our facilitator course. There's so many different things that will be available to you on that website, including masterclasses coming. Then we want to make sure that you sign up for the $1 billion challenge, billionpaydown.com or $1 billion challenge, as mentioned before. If you would like to reach our amazing guest, who is chock full of information, she didn't even scratch the surface, which is why I feel a part 2 coming on. You can contact Fund Black Founders, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Fund Black Founders, or you can reach them via Twitter. Fund Black Founders, spelled a little differently, that is their Twitter handle, but you can also find lots of information being dropped daily. So please, we encourage you to follow them if you're not already. And if you want to contact anybody at D-Free Global Foundation, you can call us at 844-693-3733 or reach us via email at info@mydfree.org. As always, we are so excited to have you all with us. We're grateful for everybody who signed in. I see about 32 messages came in while I was talking to you. And so we'll try to answer any of those. But is there anybody that has any Q&A or anything they wanted to ask before we close out? We know that we try to be D-Free with your time, but those of you who need to log off, our time together is officially spent. But if you have a couple of questions, we can remain on for a few more minutes with Renee.
I have a question.
Sure.
Go ahead. We don't see your name. We see your number. I think it's 609.
Yeah,
Yes,
your whole phone number for the internet, but we do hear you. You go ahead. We can hear you.
is Dr. Violet Barrett Patterson.
Hello, Dr. Violet.
How are you?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Is Pastor still there or he left?
I'm
I
sorry.
need some. I need a follow-up on Will Downing. Can anybody give me that information? He contacted me, but I misplaced his information.
You can reach out at info@mydfree and just put your inquiry there, and we'll make sure you get connected to who you need to get connected to. Our team is waiting in the background, so they'll grab it right out of the chat.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm glad I asked. Thank you so much. Because Pastor wanted me to get in touch with him.
Okay. Yep. We'll let Pastor know. All right. Anybody else?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great evening, Dr. Violet. Anybody else
too.
have any questions before we wrap up? All right.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, Miss Tangela,
So I'm also have a comment for all who dropped their businesses in the chat that have Instagram. My challenge to you would be for each one that's on there to just go to their page, follow, like, and share. That's the easiest way to move businesses along without really having it's the one free thing that we can do, because a lot of times our family and friends are watching our Instagram pages and they look to see who you have added to your following, and then that helps to increase the business, or at least to alert them of what new businesses they came in contact with.
Oh man, that was
I love me some Tangela. Can I just tell you that?
good. I'm like, how amazing was that? It was so
I love you back.
And that is a free way of helping out a business. And you can share some of the information on your page as well. You know, if you see a product you like, even if you can't afford to buy it or what have you, or maybe financially challenged or might be on a financial fast, go ahead and share for everybody else. This is so good. Yes, even Josh said we should do that. So what we say, like, share, and follow.
Follow, like, and share.
All right.
And listen to, our young people, my younger two. I have 3 kids, but my older and my middle are my ones who told me about the Black August. So, they know what's hot, they know what's not. They have some financial literacy tips, and our millennials have taken some of that information and applied it to their own businesses, and they will show you how to interrupt the anagram of Instagrams and your Facebook to get your product boosted and get your product out. They will show you how to do it. So they're they are kind of bright and shining stars if we just give them a chance and just kind of, it's hard for some of us who are kind of dinosaurs and not as savvy, but get yourself a young person to show you and walk you through how to go through the Instagrams, your Twitters. They're more than happy to do so, because right now that seems to be the wave of businesses: your TikTok, your Instagrams, and your Twitter communication.
That is so good.
And I'm also in the D Free. I'm actually a old, long-time member of First Baptist Church when it was the little white church, and it got built up into what it is now. So I'm in there and I'm moving it along. So most of the businesses that I did see in the chat, I did go and follow their businesses that they had Instagram. I did take their information down to just kind of forward it on to some family and friends that I know that may live in those areas. And I had asked in the chat that if you posted a business, put your state, because some of us may not know what state you're in, but at least that's a good networking tool for us to move it along into the states where we know people. So
this is exactly awesome. Community. Yes, because of ideas like that. We see another hand. I want to make sure that everyone puts their state along with their information in the chat. People are still joining, but please do so. And we'll make sure that we compile that list. And when we send out the information from Renee, as well as the list of businesses that have been dropped, we'll send that information out to you in our follow-up. So thank you very much. This is the 601. Oh, is Dr.
I have a question.
Yes.
The lady who just spoke and said she had been at First Baptist Church for a long time. What is your name, if you don't mind?
Oh, my name is Tangela. My last name used to be Kelton.
Do you still attend First Baptist?
I attend sometimes with my mother. So my mother is still a member of First Baptist Church.
Okay. Well, we should get hooked up then.
Then you should, you can go ahead. And so in the chat, there's a way to reach people privately. If you look where it says everyone, there's a little arrow down, and that down arrow, you can look for her name specifically, and you guys can exchange information privately. And we won't all
yes, makes sense.
All right.
Uh-huh.
This is good. Are there any other questions for Ms. King tonight? We are so blessed to be able to have her, and I thank her for staying over. We try to be D-free with your money, but also D-free with your time. I just want to make sure, are there any closing words of wisdom or any pearls you want to drop before we get out of here tonight?
Fund Black founders.
Somebody can help.
That's it. Fund Black founders. That's it. Fund them all. Fund D-free. Fund all of us. All the businesses that you see on here, they all need funding. I guarantee it.
A reason why we use the word founders versus owners?
No.
Okay.
So I mean, the founder normally is also the owner. It's just like I think it's more maybe in the whole tech and startup world, we use the word founder a lot. Like you're the founder and CEO. It's still an entrepreneur, interchangeable. Founder, owner, entrepreneur, same thing.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't violating anything.
Nope, not violating anything at all. If you found the company, you're the founder. And it just like flows for us, Fund Black Founders, FBF. That's it.
I love it. and which is why I keep tripping over it, right? Because I'm like, it's so witty, it's so catchy. But Renee, I can't thank you enough. I think if you can see these comments, you'll see that our audience can't begin to thank you enough. Everyone seems to have gotten great value out of everything that they've heard and seen tonight. And so we're just grateful to have you, and we appreciate you, and we are so looking forward to seeing you again.
I'm grateful for the community. I love, like I said in the comments, like I'm really grateful for communities that are doing the work together. So we're the village. So I always want to be in these spaces. So you can totally have me back, and we can talk more dive into one specific topic.
Thank you. We're looking forward to it. To everyone that stayed on, we appreciate you hanging in there for the extra 15 minutes or so, and we pray that everyone was blessed. In the meantime, good night. God bless you all, and thank you again, Renee.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a good night.
you. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.